Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is 5:07 in your nation's capital, all up and down the east coast of the United States of America, and wherever you're listening, well, it's whatever time it is where you are. Thanks for tuning in this Thursday morning to O'Connor and Company. It's the post-Jimmy Kimmel era has begun, and we're here for it. Coming up at 6:35, David Bozell of Media Research Center to discuss what happened with Jimmy Kimmel.
Amazing.
7:05, Chuck Teese is going to join us. A lot going on here with the D.C. crime bill and the Commander Stadium bill. 8:05, KT McFarland will reflect on Trump's triumphant trip to the United Kingdom. We're going to reflect on that in a moment. And then at 8:35, Steve Moore, Heritage Foundation. Fed interest rate change yesterday. What does that mean? Was it enough? All that jazz. It's Larry O'Connor and the delightful Bethany Mandel.
Good morning. I feel like I'm going to learn so much this show because
Really?
I don't know anything about the interest rate.
Okay.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Good.
And Commander Stadium, I drove by in an Uber yesterday and watched them tearing down RFK Stadium. Also had no idea.
Oh yeah. It's jarring as you see what's happening because RFK has been sitting there like a tombstone,
I kind of want to bring my
decades.
sons to watch them tearing it down.
Yeah, it's cool. But don't because the rats will be scurrying.
Really?
Man, oh my gosh, whatever vermin has been living in that hulk of a stadium for the last 20 years, it's got to be a nightmare. Well, when was the last time they actually had an event in that building? It must have been a DC United game or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like that would be like a really fun event for toddler boys to watch.
You're probably right. Yeah, that's pretty. But toddler boys really do love a good demolition.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing better, especially the trucks. So we're going to get into all of that. And yes, we have. Oh, boy, do I got to say, it's always an honor to fill in for Mark Levin, and I was on the air yesterday as the story broke that Jimmy Kimmel had been, how did ABC put it? Suspended indefinitely.
Suspended indefinitely.
Suspended indefinitely.
What is that word, exonerate? What's...
I don't know.
There's
now you're just making up words.
I don't think I am.
Exonerate.
It's, okay. If someone could tweet us the word that I'm looking for, that would be great.
That would be terrific, yes. Real-time crowdsourcing a radio talk show. This is new.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m.
Hey, everyone, get in the comments section and let us know your thoughts.
What is Bethany trying to say?
I have plenty to say about the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and if you're just waking up now and you didn't see the news, Jimmy Kimmel has been ripped off the air. And no, it's not the fascist Trump and his totalitarian FCC that forced ABC's hand. No, it turns out it's a good old-fashioned monetary decision because the syndicators, the local stations, decided that they weren't going to run the show anymore. Well, we'll give you all those details. But yes, spoiler alert, you're being lied to when you hear that this is all about Trump and a threat to free speech in the First Amendment. I got plenty to say about that.
Defenestrated. I found it.
Defenestrated.
Yeah.
That sounds naughty.
I used a really big word at 5 a.m., and it took me about 5 minutes to do it. I did.
Because clearly you can't. You already had one chance.
It took me a few minutes to get there, but I got there. And it was perfect. Number 1, to throw someone out of a window. Number 2, to remove or dismiss someone from a position of power or authority.
Okay.
Look at me. I'm
That's lovely.
Dictionary.com.
It's been defenestrated.
Yeah.
I don't believe Jimmy Kimmel's been thrown out of a window.
But he has been thrown from a position of power or
Who
authority.
do you think? Is it more likely that Clarence Thomas or Samuel Alito has used defenestrated in an argument at the Supreme Court?
Gosh.
I'm going with Thomas.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know.
Scalia may have beaten both of them to the punch, though.
Yeah,
Defenestrated that's a Scalia word.
Yeah, that is a Scalia word.
And now
I
it's
agree.
a Bethany Mandel word. Good morning.
At
Good
5
morning,
a.m.
Bethany. So are you a Anglophile? See, I can always count on Julie or Patrice. You know, Patrice was born a subject of the monarchy.
What?
Oh yeah, she was born in Montserrat, the Caribbean island, which is part of the British Commonwealth. She became a citizen here legally when she was like 5 years old, but she was born.
This
a
is
subject.
how you know a woman is smart, because all of your lovely work wives,
yes,
which you have a harem of work wives.
You have no idea.
We're all big fans of the monarchy. I, too, am a big fan of the monarchy. Good. Yes. And so that is why I said we have to do this segment out the gate.
So maybe you can help me out. I know that it's the first time a president has been welcomed with a royal state banquet at Windsor Castle. Usually these things happen at Buckingham Palace, but let's face it, Trump's already had that. It's also the first time that a U.S. president has been invited back for a second visit, which I think is just the combination of the fact that we have a new monarch in King Charles, number one, and number two, there was a bit of a gap between his first term and his second term, so they're treating this like a second presidency, I suppose. So setting all of that aside, the scenes from Windsor Castle with that long pathway, tree-lined, with the beefeater dudes, who usually show up on a gin bottle, but instead they're standing there lining up on the side with the Royal Horse Brigade and the carriages. And I don't remember ever seeing a president welcomed like this. This was amazing. This was storybook stuff.
It was really great. And I think it really speaks to the special relationship that we have with the UK. And he got a lot. I mean, I don't know if you follow the royal family on social media, but I do. And reading the comments, Europeans are not a fan of Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And obviously, the English are part of that continent. But I think it was a pretty bold move on the part of the royal family to say, we're not only going to invite the Trumps, but we are going to roll out the red carpet. And I think it was strategically very smart. This royal family, I'm sure they're not terribly large fans of Donald Trump, but they recognize the importance of their role as sort of these ceremonial figureheads.
Yeah.
And I think it says something about how they see the winds blowing on our side of the
I think those are all probably fair and succinct observations. Although I hold out hope that William likes him, and just hear me out. Trump has been very outspoken in criticizing Meghan Markle and expressing sympathy for Harry.
Yeah,
that Harry is stuck in a dead end disaster of a marriage, and Trump has been like, "Yeah, you got to feel for Harry." I sense that that's exactly William's sentiments toward his brother and his ill-fated marriage, and so something tells me is they've got something in common there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, apparently, so Trump was speaking, and Heather, our amazing executive producer, told me about this, which I'm so disappointed in myself for not knowing already. Trump said to, I think he said to Charles about William, "I just want to say that King Charles has raised a remarkable son." Singular.
Yes. One son.
One of them is remarkable.
He had a 50-50 shot. He got one of them right.
The other one, not so much.
That's not to mention. Yes.
But I love when Trump talks about Prince Harry, because he's basically like, is there a return address?
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can exchange? I don't know what we can do here, but the American people did not sign up for Prince Harry.
A couple of things. We've got a little bit of their toasts that they gave to each other. We'll paint the picture there in the banquet room at Windsor. The president famously is creating a ballroom in the East Wing of the White House. Do you think he was inspired by the scenes there at Windsor Castle?
I think he has this sort of a lot of his homes and everything, they feel very royal and very regal, and so I'm sure he just loved
that
it.
Sort of thing. Also, of course, we'll go through the menu, which I'm told had some nods to the Commander-in-Chief with some of his favorites and some very Americanized dishes going on there. And also we'll tell you a surprise song that was played by the Royal Band as they were putting out a military parade for the Commander-in-Chief and the head of state of England, the King. We'll give you all that coming up in a sec. It's 5:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
It was very British, I'll say that. Very British. It was a white-tie dinner. That's as formal as you can get. The royal women all wore tiaras, including Queen Camilla. She doesn't always wear a tiara, by the way. I think partly out of respect of the nature of her, ascending to the throne. But she definitely wore a big bejeweled tiara, as did the Princess of Wales, Catherine, who looked stunning. Okay, I'm going to defer to you on this one, but Melania Trump, the First Lady, obviously looks amazing always. But I've heard some gentle criticism over the fact that she chose to wear yellow, not gold, not, champagne, like yellow, like very springy yellow in September in England.
So I think she would have been better served wearing a darker color. It did not, upon reflection, and I'm able to change my opinions. I think in isolation, the dress looked amazing on her. I think it would have been a great dress for the Easter egg roll. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect for that.
Off the shoulder, and by the way, I should point out there's a like lilac or pinkish
lilac,
lavender,
that's the word. Yep.
A lilac belt. So
Yes.
it was very spring, very
Yes.
Easter. Yellow with a lilac belt.
So I think that it was off in the venue that she was in. She looked fabulous, as she always does.
Absolutely looked incredible.
But it was, I do agree with you. I think that it would have been perfect for the Easter egg roll, not quite for Windsor Castle.
Let me be clear, because I still hold out the hope that I might be invited to an affair at the White House at some point in the next 3 years. It is not my opinion that yellow was a miss. Okay, you're not agreeing with me. You're agreeing with others who may have suggested
You're throwing that person under the bus.
My wife. Yes.
I was not. Notice how I did not throw her under the bus.
Meredith called it, in her opinion, a very rare miss.
I don't know if I would say it was a miss. It was just not quite on point with the venue.
All right. But she looked incredible.
She looked fabulous.
Absolutely beautiful. The menu, which apparently, that said, this is a nod to the president's heritage, not his American heritage, his Scottish heritage.
Oh, fascinating.
Yes.
And I didn't know he was Scottish.
Yes, his mother was Scottish. And by the way, his mother apparently loved the royal family, loved Queen Elizabeth II. It's very publicly known. First course was watercress panna cotta and quail egg salad on a Parmesan shortbread.
Oh.
Followed by free-range Norfolk chicken ballotons in zucchini coats, Spanish beans, spiced pumpkin, and toasted seeds, butter shard, and fondant potatoes. Come on.
All this sounds disgusting. This is when I think that when you're really, really rich, you jump the shark a little bit. Like you go just a little too far.
So what?
It just sounds like too much for me. But can you imagine the pressure of being this chef?
Oh,
and I know that for everyone who's ever worked in a restaurant, I have worked in a restaurant. Chefs thrive on pressure. It's like it's how they fuel themselves, because Lord knows they don't actually eat. So I'm sure whoever did this was like, they're going to be high for weeks on the adrenaline of what they just did.
Yeah.
But I would not be interested in this kind of pressure. I would pass.
Vanilla ice cream bomb with Kentish raspberry sorbet and lightly poached Victoria plums. You don't want to over poach your Victoria plums.
Do you think that they just put into ChatGPT, find the most pretentious menu imaginable?
Oh, it gets better.
Because I don't understand most of the words you just said besides poached.
After dinner drinks included a vintage of 1945 port, which is Trump's birth year, the closest to Trump's birth year that they had, and a 1912 cognac, because that was the year of Trump's mother's birth in Scotland. How sweet is that?
Oh, man. I almost said something. I forgot we were on the radio, but this was a massage of President Trump.
It was
what this is.
And I'll tell you, from watching movies like The Crown, because I do love, I'm an Anglophile. I love British entertainment. I watch BBC stuff all the time and things about the royal family. And if you watch The Crown, you will see that at various times in the 20th century, the prime minister would beseech Queen Elizabeth and ask her to do a dinner like this for political purposes. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? We got to bring Eisenhower over for it. But would you please host a big state dinner? Let's get
massage their ego. Yeah.
I have no doubt that this was all part of the diplomacy of the prime minister, who does not have the best relationship, whose politics is very much at odds with the president's. They've got to find common ground. And you're right. This was absolutely a full-body massage. Real quickly, here's Trump during his toast, what we referred to, the reference to William. Go ahead.
But I just want to say that His Majesty has also raised a remarkable son and His Royal Highness
Singular.
Prince of Wales. Really amazing. We've gotten to know you, and I think you're going to have an unbelievable success in the future. Melania and I are delighted to visit again with Prince William and to see Her Royal Highness, Princess Catherine, so radiant and so healthy, so beautiful.
And finally, as I mentioned earlier, during the day, they sat at a reviewing stand during a military parade, and the Royal Military Band walked past the podium and... accompanying a military flyover with red, white, and blue smoke coming out of the back of the jets and the royal band playing the YMCA.
I cannot wait until we're off air and I can say the words that I want to say.
Bethany.
I don't want to get dinged by the FCC.
Well, they got bigger things to worry about right now, but thank you. I appreciate it. Bethany, let me just say, we are so back. We are beyond
we really
back.
are.
And you know what?
I love that we are important enough that the royal family has to massage us in this way.
Yes, and Charlie Kirk would have loved every bit of it. It's fitting that this happened 1 week after his untimely passing. It's 5:24. All right, now that we've got YMCA stuck in your head, we will continue to the other news of the day. Yes, we'll touch on Jimmy Kimmel coming up in a bit and remind you of just how lonesome he was. And Winsome Earl Sears scores some pretty impressive endorsement from the Commonwealth sheriffs. That and a whole lot more coming up. It's 5:30.
WMAL-FM Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
5:37, O'Connor and Company. Coming up at 6:35, David Bozell. 7:05, Chuck Thies. 8:05, KT McFarland. 8:35, Steve Moore. And we're going to talk quite a bit about Jimmy Kimmel. What's your $5 word there, Bethany Mandel?
Defenestrate.
Yes, the defenestration of Jimmy Kimmel, which just really sounds naughty now.
For every new listener, they're like, "Oh, that's a nice, impressive word," and they don't know that if they had just tuned in a half an hour ago, I would have been trying to find it for 5 minutes.
You came up with 10 different versions of it, which I'm sure half of which would get us fired from our job. But
Speaking of the FCC, actually.
Speaking of the FCC, ABC announced yesterday they were indefinitely suspending Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. Now, let's remind you of why. And I don't know if I want to play the audio necessarily, but what he said was, on Monday, first of all, the fact that on Monday he decided that he was going to tell a joke that was premised on grieving of the murder of Charlie Kirk. See, right there, people in the writers' room would have said, "Listen, Jimmy, I know you think it's funny, and it is funny, but maybe we should, not have this as the foundation of a way to make a joke about Donald Trump." The whole point was we're going to make fun of Donald Trump, but to make fun of Donald Trump, you have to set the joke up relating to Charlie Kirk's assassination. And so, like, at that point, everything should have stopped and said, no, let's not do this.
So this is the problem when you surround yourself with people who think exactly like you, because he did not have anyone on his writing staff who were like, "Oh, read the room there, Jimmy.
In fact, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It's also the arrogance of feeling untouchable.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they going to do? I can do whatever I want.
I mean, I don't know. I genuinely think that on their social media and in their social circles, there was no one who was upset by this. They thought that he was a terrible racist, misogynist, you name the ists. That was Charlie. And I think that it genuinely did not occur to them that half the country, I mean, the flags are at half-mast, for goodness sake.
Right.
They could not possibly fathom that there were people who were really feeling this, to the point where they would watch this and call their local affiliate and say, I don't like that.
Well, and let's be clear. To say a joke in bad taste is nothing new for Jimmy Kimmel, even if it's to make fun of those of us who were mourning the death of a 31-year-old man who happened to be conservative. No, the problem with the joke was this setup. Take a listen.
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And
there you go. So he set it up by saying that the MAGA crowd was trying desperately to characterize the murderer as anyone but one of them. In other words, he's saying he was a MAGA kid. It was disinformation, misinformation, propaganda, and just flat out lies. We knew better at the time that he taped the show, but even worse, Bethany, by the time he went on that was Monday. By the time he went on the air Tuesday, we had the press conference, we had the DA, we had all the evidence, we had the text messages. We knew he wasn't a MAGA kid. He was a left-wing maniac who murdered Charlie Kirk because of politics that Jimmy Kimmel shares.
Yes.
That's the problem. Yes. He had every opportunity Tuesday night to say, listen, I made a joke yesterday and I said something wrong. I shouldn't have said it because it turns out this guy wasn't a MAGA kid. I'm sorry. Let's move on. That's all he had to do and everything would have been fine. He refused to do that.
So I think because, again, they live in this bubble, he did not get that memo because what news sources are they absorbing?
I mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe,
they don't know.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he still thinks that it was some right-wing nut. Well, during the day Tuesday, Brendan Carr, FCC chairman, was on an interview for Benny Johnson's podcast. Benny Johnson raised this, and the chairman of the FCC said, well, yeah, there are some issues with the broadcast license on some of these local stations because you can't just outright lie like that about a news event. This might deserve some scrutiny. That's all he said.
Yeah.
And there's no evidence that there was any official proceeding taking place from the FCC or what have you. Now, everyone is saying that Jimmy Kimmel was fired because Brendan Carr threatened to pull ABC licenses. There's no evidence of that. I've told you what Brendan Carr said, and actually he commented on Hannity last night. We'll give you that audio in a minute. Here's what happened. You have to understand, ABC is a broadcast network. And then they own some stations in some cities, but the vast, vast, vast majority of the television stations all around the country are independently owned. Sometimes they're owned by like families that have owned them for 100 years. Sometimes there are corporations that own multiple ABC stations. Like right here in D.C., the ABC affiliate, WJLA Channel 7, is owned by the Sinclair Group. Sinclair Group owns about 30, I think they're the largest ABC broadcast station ownership group in major markets around the country. The other big ABC company that owns TV stations, these are separate companies, they're not owned by ABC, is a company called Nexstar. Yesterday afternoon, both Sinclair and Nexstar announced that they would no longer air the show. They're not obligated. They don't have to run ABC's show. They can put reruns of Friends up if they want to. They said they're not going to run the show anymore. That means that both of the largest station groups that ran Jimmy Kimmel's show in major cities around the country would no longer be running the show. That means all that national advertising disappears.
Yeah.
Because advertisers want to be on Jimmy Kimmel's show only if they're going to be in New York, D.C., L.A., all these other big cities. Now it won't be there. There was no revenue. ABC said, oh, well, we have to fix this. And they did.
So this might have been, in my humble opinion, as someone who really does not know as much as you do or many people, ABC is very bad at programming. They're very bad at what they're doing. And no one watches Jimmy Kimmel because it's not funny. It's not entertaining. He's not particularly insightful. Yeah. And I think this was the local market trying to tell them, we're going to make more money and have more viewers with Friends reruns than we are with Jimmy Kimmel. So we're going to force you to make this decision. And maybe they just used this Charlie Kirk thing as an excuse to finally push them over the edge because they're like, we're done here.
I think it might be a combination of those things. I think you're right. By the way, there's also the ratings. The Jimmy Kimmel Live show at its peak in 2013 was getting about a 0.71 share. As of this year, it was getting a 0.16 share.
That sounds bad. What does that mean?
Super bad. Excuse me, that's not a share. That's a ratings point. I'm not sure what the share was.
So that means of everyone watching television?
No, a share would be of everyone watching television. It was the percentage, and the numbers I'm quoting are not shares. That's a ratings point. A 0.16 is the number of people watching to the but I don't know what the factor is here for Nielsen. Probably a rating point is something like 1 million homes or something. So, yeah, 0.16. They went from 0.71 to 0.16 in 2 years.
Wow.
Hold that thought. 544.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means.
It's funny when Jimmy Kimmel used his monologue to make fun of Tucker Carlson for getting fired. I guess it's okay to celebrate people getting fired.
Can I quote my husband for a moment?
Yeah, always.
The shoe is on the other foot. Smelly and uncomfortable, is it not?
What a nerd you're.
Isn't he so funny, though?
Also, let's not forget that Jimmy Kimmel completely distorted what Roseanne Barr had tweeted out on her social media and helped encourage ABC to fire her from her show. Roseanne, for her part yesterday, by the way, took to social media saying, "Hey, ABC, I'm available if you need someone late night." Which is kind of funny. Real fast on the ratings, it's assumed there are 120 million homes in America, so the ratings, a rating point is the measure of total households. So in 2012, with 0.71 ratings point, it was estimated, and these are people 18 to 49, it was estimated 852,000 households were watching Jimmy Kimmel. As of this year, that has dropped to 190,000 households. That's a devastating drop in ratings and viewership. And economically, it's just unsustainable. Sinclair Group, the ABC station group that is the largest for ABC affiliates, put out a statement about this, applauding ABC's move, but saying it's not enough. Yeah. They said, "We appreciate FCC Chairman Carr's remarks today. This incident highlights the critical need for the FCC to take immediate regulatory action to address control held over local broadcasters by the big national networks." So quite the opposite of broadcasters being concerned about the heavy hand of Brendan Carr and the FCC. This is Sinclair, a station group, actually asking for more intervention because of things like this. Also, talk about sweet justice. This Friday, the Sinclair Group, instead of the Jimmy Kimmel Show at 11:30, will be airing a special tribute to Charlie Kirk.
So
and really fast, they demand that before ABC considers bringing Jimmy Kimmel on the air, he needs to make a full apology to the Kirk family and make a sizable donation to the Kirk family and to Turning Point USA.
I love it. So Schadenfreude, that's the word I would use there. So I find it really, really angering, and I just can't get myself to care, because all of these people who are falling over themselves to talk about the threat to free speech, who were silent a week ago exactly. Yes. I don't believe you. I don't believe you care about free speech. You just care about the speech that you care about.
Thank you.
And I just don't.
The virtue signaling liberals, leftists, and Jake Tapper is going crazy about this. Chris Hayes, Van Jones, they're all Chuck Schumer screaming that this is a threat to the First Amendment. Think about this for a minute. They find a corporation firing an odious, unpopular, unprofitable comedian from a late night show as an existential threat to free speech in America, but they didn't say that about a young conservative on an open mic engaging in a debate, getting a bullet in his throat last week.
Yep.
This really isn't a threat to the First Amendment.
What did Brendan Carr do? If there was some sort of backroom thing, but all he really seemed to say was in his kind of personal capacity. I mean, he's speaking as a person saying, "I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think he should be on the air."
That's right.
That's all I heard.
I don't know what Brendan Carr did, but I guarantee you it wasn't anything close to what the FBI and the Biden administration did to people who challenged vaccine mandates.
Or the IRS to conservatives.
Thank you. All right, we've got more on this. And for those of you who are like, "Oh, you talk show hosts, you shouldn't be celebrating this. You're going to be next." Yeah, let me open your eyes about that. I'll explain coming up in a moment. It's 5:53.